beautiful, loud New York City. Going to grab a city bike over there and bike to Riverside Park. Alright, I've made it. I biked through Riverside Park. It's hot. I believe this is the Church of St. John the Divine, the cathedral, I think. Alright, so that is not the Church of St. John the Divine. That is the Riverside Church. Beautiful building. Hey, how's it going? What can you tell me about this place?
I'll give you a brief overview. Yeah. So it's the final resting place of Ulysses S. Grant and his wife Julia. Ulysses is probably most famous as being the general of the Union Army during the American Civil War, but he was also our 18th president. When he passes away, he does not have any stipulations about his final resting place or burial. His only wish is to make sure there's a space for his wife, Julia, next to him when it's her time to pass away. Now, he did live here the final 4 years of his life here in New York City. He believed New York embraced him after his presidency, and Julia still lived here, so she'd be able to come pay her respects as well. It's the most populous city at the time, so many other veterans and people would also be able to come pay their respects. So the mosaics were added later in the 1960s, and they depict some important moments during the Civil War. The one on the right depicts the siege of Vicksburg in Mississippi. It's the last Confederate fort on the river, so opening that will cut the Confederacy in two and open up the river. It was the largest Confederate surrender up until that point of the war. It coincides with the Battle of Gettysburg, so huge blow to the Confederacy. After Vicksburg, Grant sent east to Chattanooga, so this mosaic depicts the Battle of Chattanooga. When Grant arrives, the city is under siege by the Confederacy, and he's able to open up his supply line, get the army some food, and then he goes on the offensive, and it's a huge, tremendous Union victory. After Chattanooga is when President Lincoln appoints Grant general of the entire Union Army, which will eventually lead to the surrender of Robert E. Lee at Appomattox, effectively ending the Civil War.
Alright guys, so that was the Ulysses S. Grant Mausoleum National Memorial. His tomb, essentially. Very interesting building, very cool to see. Now I'm gonna head down to the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, which is on the other side of Riverside Park, and we'll take it from there. Unfortunately, it looks a little dilapidated, and it looks like we can't actually get to it. Like a lot of historical things in this country, it seems like history gets neglected to our peril. But there are some cannons in this playground. So after all that biking and all those monuments, it was time to get back to Jersey City. I decided to fly the drone around for a little bit.